It's a common belief that pocket slips are only meant for small, thin knives. However, this sheath proves that thanks to firm leather and a steel clip, even a thick multi-layer Victorinox sits comfortably and securely in your pocket. Hello, fellow leather crafters and Swiss Army knife fans. In this video, I'll take you through the complete process of crafting this slip. You can download the free pattern for this project using the link in the description. Let's start by preparing the paper pattern. Print the digital template onto standard paper. Carefully cut out the paper pattern strictly along the outline. Use a metal ruler and a sharp utility knife for this. For this project, you'll need firm vegetable tanned or combination tanned leather, about 2.4 millimeters thick. A Victorinox Swiss Champ XLT is quite heavy and bulky, so the sheath requires leather that holds its shape well and won't stretch over time. Secure the template with weights and tape down the edges with masking tape to prevent shifting. Take a small round hole punch. Using a mallet, punch the relief holes at the fold line. To mark the stitch line, we'll use 6 mm Cinnabrox stitching irons. Hold the tool strictly vertical. Punch the stitching holes step by step along the entire perimeter. Choose a round hole punch of the right diameter for the eyelet hole. Center the tool on the pattern mark and punch a clean hole all the way through. Now, move on to rough cutting the main piece. Trim the excess leather off both sides with a utility knife along the straight lines. Don't remove the paper template completely yet, as we still need to round the corners. To get perfect rounded corners, use a 10 mm Ivan radial corner punch. By the way, you can also round the corners by hand with a knife or using other corner rounding tools. Trim any remaining connecting bits at the joints. Fully remove the paper template from the leather piece. Check and carefully touch up all the rounded corners if necessary. Set your Dremel rotary tool with the sanding band to low speed. Thoroughly sand all the edges of our leather piece. Stamping a logo or design is optional, but it really gives the sheath a distinct, personalized touch. Lightly mist both sides of the leather with water using a spray bottle. Position your brass stamp with your custom logo in the center. Place the piece into a manual leather press. Moving on to preparing the smaller components. Place a rectangular steel clicker die onto the remaining leather scraps. With a single press, die cut a clean leather keeper loop for the clip. Now for an important part of my philosophy, minimizing waste. Using a shaped clicker die, cut out a decorative packaging tag from the leather scraps. Take a small square die with rounded corners, cut out a few small pieces from 2.0 to 2.5 millimeters thick leather. Even the smallest leather scraps are put to good use. At the end of the video, I'll show you how to turn these scraps into a handy accessory and a branded packaging element. Return to the rectangular keeper loop and lay the paper template over it. Secure the paper with masking tape. Punch the stitching holes around its perimeter using your stitching irons. Bevel and slick the edges on both the main body piece and the prepared loop. Carefully bevel all the outer edges of the pieces using an edge beveler. Using a stitching groover, I cut a channel along the fold line to help the sheath fold cleanly without creasing. Then, I carve a groove on the interior side where the clip keeper will be stitched. This embeds the thread flush into the leather, preventing it from rubbing or wearing down against the knife. Take a small amount of Tokonole burnishing gum, apply it evenly to the flesh side of the leather. Treat the flesh side where the knife will come into contact when drawing it out. Rub the compound in thoroughly, making the interior smooth and protected from wear and moisture. Apply Tokonole directly onto the leather edges. Burnish the edges vigorously with a wooden slicker. Insert a dark metal eyelet into the corner hole of the sheath. Place the piece on the anvil of your hardware press. Press the lever down to cleanly set the eyelet in the leather. Now let's mount the pocket clip onto the loop. Punch a center hole in the prepared leather loop. Insert a rivet post and the steel clip onto the piece. Securely set the rivet using hand-press pliers. Next, join the clip loop to the main body piece. Rough up the grain side of the leather at the glue joint using a rasp or leather roughing tool. This raises the fibers and significantly improves glue adhesion. Apply a thin layer of leather adhesive to both mating surfaces. Spread the glue evenly with a silicone spatula. Align the pre-punched holes using harness needles. Firmly press the loop onto the body with your fingers, or clamp it with clips until the glue dries. Measure out the required length of 1 mm waxed thread. Cut the thread with sharp sewing snips. Thread both ends onto 2 blunt harness needles using the standard locking technique. Secure the assembled piece firmly in a wooden stitching pony. Begin stitching the loop along its perimeter with a strong 2-needle saddle stitch. Keep your tension consistent for clean, even stitches. At the end of the seam, make a few back stitches for a secure lock. Trim the excess thread close to the leather surface. Gently melt the thread ends with a lighter and press them flat against the stitch line. Use pliers with leather jaws to lightly flatten the seam. This gives the same result as hammering the stitches. Now, let's assemble and stitch the main sheath. Apply a line of glue along the entire joining perimeter. Smooth the glue into a thin, even coat using a silicone spatula. Fold and bring the edges of the sheath together. Temporarily secure the body with brass Chicago screws through the end holes for perfect alignment. Take your pliers with protective leather jaw covers. Firmly squeeze the glued edges around the entire perimeter for a strong bond. Clamp the sheath in the stitching pony. Remove the temporary screws from the section you're about to sew. When stitching, I always wear leather finger cots on my pinkies to prevent thread burns. You need to pull the thread quite tight to keep the seam strong and neat. Stitch the sides of the sheath using a durable saddle stitch with 2 needles. Pull each stitch evenly. To keep the stitch line looking crisp, always start each stitch from the same side. At the end, lock the seam with a few back stitches. Snip the thread and carefully melt the ends with a lighter. To protect the leather from drying out, apply a wax-based leather balm. Rub the balm into the grain surface and let it absorb for a moment. Wipe away any excess balm with a soft rag or, as I do, with clean cotton gloves. Buff the leather vigorously until the excess product is gone and a rich sheen appears. The sheath is complete. I made 4 sheaths at once with different finishes. Some feature matching brown stitching, others have high contrast black thread, along with various logo options. Now it's time to craft a useful extra accessory from the leftover scraps. Let's make a matching brown and black lanyard. Take a refillable marker filled with professional black leather dye. Carefully dye the edges of the light-colored square pieces we cut out earlier. Use a small round hole punch. Punch 2 holes through the center of the prepared pieces. Using a sharp skiving knife or craft knife, cut small grooves where the cord will sit. Stack the prepared pieces to form a decorative multi-layer sandwich and glue them together. Fold a round leather cord in half to form a loop. Lay the ends of the cord into the pre-cut grooves of the slider. Cover the assembly with the matching leather piece using glue. Squeeze the assembled bead slider firmly with your fingers for an initial bond. Clamp the slider securely on all 4 sides with metal binder clips. Once the glue is completely dry, remove the clips. Apply a small amount of Tokonole to the edges of the bead slider. Burnish the edges thoroughly with a wooden slicker until perfectly smooth. In the end, we get 4 stylish lanyards that perfectly match our sheaths. Thread the cord loop through the metal eyelet on the finished sheath. Pass the leather slider through the loop and gently pull it tight. You can also attach this lanyard directly to the keyring of your Victorinox knife. This makes drawing the tool out of a deep pocket much faster and easier. Now let's move on to branding and making our custom tags. A leather tag cut in the shape of a hide highlights the natural material and provides extra product details. Set up the logo and QR code layout in the mobile app for the Daja laser engraver. Ideally, it's best to make the tag from the exact same leather as the sheath, but that doesn't always work out. The same QR code scans perfectly on light-colored leather, but fails completely on dark leather due to low contrast. The fix here is simple. Either stick to light leather or find another creative workaround. For instance, printing the QR code on heavy paper, punch a neat hole in the top of the paper tag using a revolving punch. Layer the paper tag right over the leather branded hide tag. Of course, heavy craft paper would look best here, but we're using what we have on hand. Test the QR code scan again with a smartphone. Now the link instantly redirects the customer to a multi-link page with all my resources. It's a small but vital marketing touch to keep customers connected and updated on new work. If you'd like to learn how to set up a Linktree landing page for all your social media and links, let me know in the comments and I can make a dedicated video about it. Thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Leathercraft tutorials.